TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. The countdown continues to Quique Setien's first game as Barcelona coach. But in today's video, we have more words from the man himself. He has undergone there on the Barcelona website an official interview, an in-depth interview there about his way of thinking, about the way that he came to become the Barcelona coach, and now that he's here, what he feels that he can bring to this team. There's lots to dissect, lots to analyse from what Setien said. It was very, very insightful. And if you do want to go and watch that interview, of course, it is available for everybody on the official Barca site. But in today's video, let's break down what he said. Quique, take it away. He started off the interview by saying, look, this is still an absolute dream for me. He said basically that I cannot believe that I'm the Barcelona coach. Sometimes here when I come into training, I've still got to pinch myself and think, hang on a minute, I'm at Barcelona. It still feels absolutely incredible. He said the presentation when he became there, the Barcelona coach, was one of the happiest days of his entire life. This is a guy here who's 61 years old. He's seen so many things in the game, so many things inside of football, so many things outside of football. But this right here, this is what he's been waiting for such a long time. And he said often in these kind of situations, he takes some time out there to reflect on the job that he has, the job that he has to come, the decisions he got to make. And he says, I don't like to rush into anything. And that's basically there, going back to what we spoke about yesterday, when we said that Setien still hasn't decided whether or not he wants the board to sign anybody in January. And that's the thing with Setien, very methodical. He will think about things. He won't lurch from one decision to another. He's a very, very calculated guy, and he always tries to analyse the situation in front of him. He then went on to talk about his playing days, the way that he was as a player, exactly what he liked to do on the field and how his characteristics were back in those playing days. And he basically said there, he was a player who loved to have the ball. He loved to think about the game. He loved to have the ball there. He wasn't a quick player. He didn't really move around the pitch quickly. He wasn't somebody with a tremendous amount of athleticism. But when he had the ball, he knew what to do with it. And he certainly said there, I didn't enjoy running. I didn't like running around, didn't like sort of chasing the ball constantly. I was somebody there who wanted to work with the ball. That's what I enjoy doing. And he said, I'm convinced there, 99% of footballers feel the same way. And he actually said there, the only time footballers change that way of thinking, of having the ball, using the ball, is actually there when other coaches come to them and they deviate them away from that way of thinking, which I think there is very, very interesting indeed. And another really interesting insight here from Quique Setien was when he said, look, he said, I always want my teams to play well. We've heard that from him consistently now since he's arrived at Barcelona. He wants to play well. That is his priority, first and foremost. He said, that's the only way that I go home in the evening. When I sit down, that is when I feel most satisfied, when I know in my heart that my team has played well. And he said there'll be a day when we win by a 0-0 and we didn't deserve to win, and I'll still be happy that we got the 3 points. I'll still be happy there that we've won the game, but that's only because I know the result there will keep most people calm and satisfied. But I'll personally go home, he said, and I'll be disappointed, because what you need is to feel good. Feel good in your work, feel good in the way that you play, and only time I go home and think, yeah, that's good, is when we play well. And he went on to say, of course, sometimes in football, it's not all about what you do. Luck can certainly play a part. It's a very, very uncertain game. But he said, if you do things well, if you play a certain way, and if you prepare yourself in the right way, you have a better chance of winning. And certainly with Setien, we can count on that. And it was interesting there because he went on to say lots of people, winning is just enough. The result at the end of the game is all people are concerned about. Many, many people are in that sort of situation. He said he respects that. He can respect all different kinds of styles from players and from coaches. But he said, I got here by thinking a different way. And he's going to stick now with the methods here that got him to Barcelona. And it was interesting for me, I feel actually, that Quique Setien talked more about his football career. And interestingly enough there, it wasn't just about his playing career. It was actually the fact that Quique Setien still plays football now. He may be 61 years old, but he still loves to play the game. And that's the sense that I get from him. He said there, I still feel like a football player. I've still got that passion. And I think that's what we see from Quique Setien. Every day here we've seen him arrive at the training ground at Barcelona, and he's still got that enthusiasm for the game. He lives it. He breathes it. He said he's still got his game there in his hometown. He goes out on the beach. He plays with his friends. And he actually said he's really scared of getting injured and not being able to play the game that he loves anymore. That's what he loves to do. But it was also interesting, I feel, along with playing football, the other ways that he unwinds it. He spends a lot of time with his family, with his friends, and he actually said these past few months that he's been out of work have been so beneficial for him as a person and as a coach. Because I think actually that's something that has been overlooked when it comes to Quique Setien, because he is somebody here who's coming in as the new Barcelona coach, but he's also fresh. He's been out of work since May. This is a guy here who's been waiting in the shadows, waiting for his chance and just recharging those batteries. And he said as much there. As time goes by, you realise that you miss those things that you do away from the field, you miss those things that you needed to catch up on, and you realise you needed that time away. We've got somebody here who's certainly fresh, certainly ready, and now he has all of that energy to put into this team. And of course, one of those hobbies of Quique Setien's, we've heard it a number of times already, is playing the wonderful game of chess. It was an interesting quote there from him. He said, "My wife says that when I play chess, a bomb could go off right next to me and I wouldn't even realise." He said chess though taught him a lot, both as a person and also as a football coach. He says there's a lot of things in chess that you can relate back to football. It gave him the ability there to pause, to remove himself from everything that was going on in his life and just focus there on the chess. He said the balance needs to be there, the association, the coordination needs to be there, not only between your thoughts on the chessboard, but also there between players on the field. Certainly, there's a lot of similarities, and those are the foundations there of the two things coming together. And of course, we've heard it before about Quique Setien and his inspiration, Johan Cruyff, but once again, in this interview, he did speak there about the great Johan. He said not so much the Racing players that I idolise, it was more players like Johan Cruyff, like Beckenbauer, in that sort of era there. Those are players that I love sitting down and watching. He said Barcelona themselves always had players that I paid attention to and players that I liked. And he said in terms of Johan Cruyff's style, he was a player that loved to have the ball, he loved to be involved in the games, but against Johan Cruyff's side, it simply didn't happen. He said the team spent the whole time chasing the ball, running after shadows, they never got close to anyone. And he said he specifically remembers a game when he played against Johan Cruyff's Barcelona, and he said you see how they start to move the ball around, you run this way, you don't get the ball, you run that way, it doesn't really happen for you. He said you're on the field, and then you start to realise, I like this. I love this style of play. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve with football teams. He said, why is this happening? Why are they making it look so easy? And those were the moments, really, that captured the mind of Quique Setien and made him believe, yep, this is my philosophy. This is what I want to see on the football field. And I also thought it was very interesting of Setien, and actually very humble in the way that he did it. He specifically mentioned there his coaching staff. He said they bring me so much in every single job that I've been at. They're a really close group to me and they help me a great deal. And we have mentioned before Edis Sarabia, and I think he's going to be a huge influence there alongside Quique Setien. He said I've given them the spotlight because they've earned it. They gave me all their knowledge and they've managed actually to make me a better coach. Very interesting there from Setien. He said not only have I surrounded myself with people who are valuable, they're capable, they're very knowledgeable, but also I've surrounded myself here with young people who are always looking to inject that youthful enthusiasm. And that's what I mean there about somebody like Edis Sarabia, somebody there who's a bit more energetic, he's more passionate, he's more intense, and I think as a combination, they are such a good pairing there. The knowledge, the wisdom, the know-how of Quique Setien, and the energy there of Edis Sarabia. It's going to be very interesting to see how they perform there on the touchline as the Barcelona coaching team. He said when you're older, you have the tendency there to always repeat the same things, to do the same things over and over again, but new things always appear. And he says that has to be the idea. That's why I have people around me who are going to inject new ideas. And for Barcelona, for me, that's so important. Having that fresh feel about it is exactly what we need. We don't want things to go stale. We don't want things there to stagnate as we've seen in the past. And Quique Setien here, very much aware of what he and his coaching staff need to bring to this team. And of course, Quique Setien made sure that he spared some time to talk about Lionel Messi and the current Barcelona players. He said, I agree with everything that has been said about Lionel Messi. I think the impact that he has in every single game is tremendous. He's always involved in the decisive moments. He said there hasn't been a better player in the history of the game, and I think that ultimately he's a totally unique footballer. I think it would be impossible to witness another player like him. Absolutely impossible there. Quique Setien glowing in his praise of Lionel Messi. He said he does everything well. He makes us better coaches. He brings us titles. It's tremendous. But it was also interesting there, not just hearing the fan talking about Lionel Messi, Quique Setien clearly a big fan of Messi, but also the coach talking about Messi. And he said there, now I do have to have a different perspective. Now this is a player that I don't only have to admire, but I've got to coach him. He said I've got to get the best out of Lionel Messi, and I've got to make sure that he's happy at all times. But he went on to say, he's a player you don't even have to say anything to. He said you see him in training, he's incredibly competitive, he's always trying to give his all, and certainly Messi, under Quique Setien, It seems very, very exciting. And just finally, guys, along with Lionel Messi, of course, Quique Setien found some time there to talk about one of his other special players, Sergio Busquets. He said, I've always had such great admiration of Busquets because he's always presented himself as a great image of a great footballer. He said he's somebody who I can really, really admire. He's the key to that way of playing in the middle of the pitch. He said he's vital, and his ability there to read the game is very, very unique. And of course, they did have that little exchange there. Busquets shirt with Quique Setien. He said, I asked for his shirt so that I could frame it and keep it in the place where it needs to be. And just finally, guys, I will leave you here with Quique Setien's final words, where he said, I never thought this could happen, not even in my wildest dreams. I always said, listen, it's impossible that I can go to Barcelona. He said even when people were coming up to him a few days before the job, they were saying, look, you're going to be the new Barcelona coach. He said, I never, ever believed that. Even with people saying it to me, I never felt the same way. He thought, I don't want to get excited because then the frustration of not getting the job, it'll be so much worse. He said, I thought to myself, my teams do play well, but in today's game, that's not going to be enough to land me the Barcelona job. To tell you the truth, I'm so excited, but now I'm in coach mode. I've changed, I'm here, and now I focus on my job. So that there is the insight into Quique Setien's words as Barcelona coach as we continue to count down to his first game against Granada at the Camp Nou on Sunday. Please leave all of your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think here, hearing yet more words from Setien and a few more insights into his coaching philosophy? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I will see you soon with yet more videos. You can count on that. Thanks for your support, guys. But until next time, as always, Vasca El Barça. Barça!